it's me. Having a good time already?
Hey, Etienne. Just arrived home. What's the matter?
Well, here's the deal. You're not gonna like this, but I need you to haul ass to Mr. Husher's place immediately. The man's gone dark, and at the university they know jack shit about what he's up to. Ask his wife, his kids, or whoever you need to if he's not at home. We need to find him.
Hello? Is anybody home? Mr. Husher?
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to opnoobs.com. We're doing round 2 of this interview today. We've had a few technical glitches, but we're ready to roll now. So today we are here with Protocol. They are an independent developer based out of Madrid, Spain. They are behind the indie horror game Song of Horror. And today we have with us Carlos Grupeli. He's the co-founder, game designer, programmer, and writer for this title. And we also have Ignacio F. Herrero, the co-founder, game designer, level designer, and 3D artist for this title. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
So we were talking about some of the games that inspired you when you were young, and also I'd like to hear a bit about the games that inspire you today. So Ignacio, again, I'm just going to have you talk a little bit about those games.
Yeah, like I said before, when I was a little kid, I used to play Nintendo games, Legend of Zelda, Mario, and I also loved the original Alone in the Dark. I used to play it wherever I go at my friends' houses because my computer was too bad to run it. And I think that's been a huge inspiration for Song of Horror because that game was pretty spooky for the time and pretty good. Technically, it wasn't a huge achievement. Even when you see it now, it looks very bad, but when it came out, it was really good. So I think that also the first Resident Evil was one of my favorite titles when it released. And I didn't have the original PlayStation, so I had to play it in PC, which was a bit more difficult, I think, with the keyboard compared to the controller. And I don't know. Now I play all kinds of stuff. I'm playing right now The Witcher 3. Also, I just finished Metal Gear 5. I play everything, all kinds of games. Horror titles are one of my favorites, but I don't play only that.
Yeah, Alone in the Dark was a classic. That game was terrifying. I remember when it came out. I was too young to be able to play it. It just scared me too much. I couldn't even touch it. But I remember watching that game and other people play it. Well, that's great. And how about you, Carlos? What games inspired you the most? You know, particularly, obviously, looking at horror games, but we're interested in all of them in general.
Well, when I was a little kid, I was also a Nintendo guy. That was, well, the console that all my friends had. And, well, we just all bought the same thing to to exchange games with one another. And, I was playing with Nintendo consoles until I switched to PS2, and from there I've been playing more PC and PS games than any other thing. And about horror games, one of the first I played were the first two Resident Evils and the first two Silent Hills, and I think, I mean, I was astonished. I I had never before, had difficulty sleeping due to a game, and well, it was scary when I was little, but with time I kind of fell in love with the genre.
Hmm. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil games are classics. I didn't play them until I was a little older because when I was young, it was just like Alone in the Dark. I was too scared, and I wasn't good enough to beat them anyways. Because those came out, those have been around for a while. But yeah, those are instant classics. Well, that's great. And so I guess when we look at a game like Song of Horror, it's the fidelity in that game is unbelievable. And from what I gather on your website, you've had just a four-member team. With two other folks maybe helping you with localization and that kind of thing. But really, it sounds like it's just a four-man team. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a
Well, it's more like 3.5.
3.5.
Because
You got one friend
yeah,
that just
because
doesn't come to the office enough.
well, Manuel, who's the guy making the music and the sound, he's not every day at the office. He when we need something, we just ask him, and he does it. But every day at the office, we are just three people.
Wow, so it really is a three-man team,
Yeah, well,
more or less.
plus the music and sound.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Then, so when you were building the game, did you decide that really high quality graphics was something that you wanted to be a feature? Is that something that you had decided from the beginning? Is that you wanted that to be in the game?
We didn't know how good would be the graphics that we were going to achieve, but at the beginning the graphical expectations were modest. Our goal was, okay, we need to achieve sufficiently good graphics that players are not put off by that they don't break immersion. But well, Ignacio can now tell you more about it. When the game progressed and we learned more, we realized that we could do better. Ignacio,
Yeah, I was when we started. I was a little totally new to the 3D design. I have made some things, but not for video games, so it was pretty different. And I thought that the graphics that we could achieve were a lot. My expectations were a lot lower than we finally achieved. I think we got pretty good now.
It looks great.
It's obviously not state of the art graphics, but I think it's
Battlefield 4.
yeah. But I think that for the it has a very good ratio of the effort we put in and the look we achieve. So
The outcome.
it's not it's not too difficult to make, and it's pretty good, good enough at least for what we intend. It's better than we expected. So I think we're happy with the graphic results.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed. A lot of independent games are, a lot of them don't even bother with 3D graphics because they're so difficult to do well. And the first thing that I noticed when looking at the trailer is it reminded me almost instantly of the style of Alan Wake, which was another sort of a thriller. It's not quite horror, but a bit of a thriller type game. And that game was, beautiful. So I saw your game and I thought that it had very similar style to that. And it's just very impressive for a small team because Alan Wake, I'm sure, had 100 people working on it or more. So what you guys have achieved is very impressive.
Thank you.
So when you guys got together, were you friends beforehand, or did you decide? You were friends. So what's the story of how Protocol Games came together?
Ignacio and I are friends since high school. That's we've been friends for about 17 years, and
Wow.
Video games was how we connected with one another. We used to talk about video games when we first met, and okay, then a friendship started developing from there. And well, I remember in high school when we went out with the class, we would talk about some game we wanted to make. That would be like the most ambitious game ever made. You remember that, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We
let's
were
do
talking about
a whole MMO, and you can have castles, and there are going to be naval battles, and then your son will continue.
That's awesome.
thousands of players, and at
That's
the same
right.
time, and
Procedurally generated and the best graphics ever and amazing
yeah,
particle
all
physics.
that.
Of course, and the two of us, yes. I mean, that's and well, that's the story. And then we went our separate ways. But Ignacio finished his degree in architecture, and I was in the IT sector as a help desk technician. And well, with how the financial crisis hit here, uh, the architecture field is a bit horrendous here.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
yeah,
It's
you
one
need
of
to
the
work, and
It's funny. I wouldn't have guessed that.
and in my sector things well didn't look much brighter. We said, okay, are we going to jump from shitty job to shitty job, or if we are going to do this, it has to be now.
Mm.
Uh,
yeah, it was a
because
pretty good moment for to start this thing because salaries here are pretty low. I
Mm.
think
Mhm.
in almost every field. Well, some are not that bad, but it
Unemployment in
was
Spain is pretty high right now, right?
yeah, it's super high. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's also a lot of people leaving the country. It's it's when you're here, it's not that bad. It doesn't look that bad. When you look at the numbers,
Mm.
you think like you see, wow, we're in the shit. So,
Yeah.
uh, it was an opportunity because I had to choose between working for like nothing because in architecture a lot of people were working just for experience. Like you work here, we don't pay you, but you get experience. Like,
yeah, okay,
well,
thank you very
I'm not
much.
going to level up or something, so I don't want experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want money. So
Yeah. I get you on
work
that
for
for sure.
yeah. So I thought, why if I'm going to work for free, why not work in what I want in a video game?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was a uh, well, it was an easy decision. I think easier than at any other moment.
That's a great story. I mean, it's funny because I've heard a few stories like that out of other independent developers, but also even folks within our own organization. A few individuals like myself who have thought a lot of the things you're saying right now. That there's only one time left. We're going to work on a gaming project we really like to work on. For me, it's OP Noobs. For you, it was Song of Horror. And I very much felt like this is the last chance I have to not have to work for free for experience and all that kind of thing. So I totally sympathize with your story. I absolutely do. And how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I'm
30.
30.
30? Both 30? Very good.
Yep.
Nice. Um, well, yeah, I mean, it's, I love hearing stories like that. People who just decide that they want more for themselves and they go and make a game. And you made a heck of a game. I mean, Song of Horror looks terrifying. And some of the things when I look at that game, I become interested to know, what movies and books and horror inspired you to make this game. Because I see aspects of sort of ghost paranormal, but I also see other sort of more interesting aspects that are a little bit different. So yeah, I'm curious to know what inspired you from horror.
About well, from video games, you already know
Yep.
Alone in the Dark and the first
Outside of video games.
video games. I think the two biggest influences are Lovecraft and Poe, and Edgar Allan Poe. We kind of love that eldritch, that paranormal thing that their works have. That Lovecraft, even though his stories can be a bit outdated today, the kind of fear that they portray is unlike anything else that has been done. It's uh, it's a bit hard to explain. It's that fear of the utterly incomprehensible, of the fear of something that is way bigger than you on a scale that you don't even matter. Is uh, I mean, when we read Lovecraft's stories, uh, one thing, well, one of the most immediate elements are the difference in power, so to speak, between the main characters, the protagonists of these stories, and what they are trying to fight or what they're trying to survive against is utterly imbalanced. And in Song of Horror, it's pretty much the same thing.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
if
those are
you want
great
to,
inspirations. I'm sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
Also, a lot of movies. I think tons. Not like the. I mean, in Lovecraft, we took the general idea, of what Carlos said, but from movies we took like certain elements or small pieces, like we say, oh shit, this is scary. How can we use this situation? How can we adapt it and use it in our game? So a lot of things that happen in the game are just small variations of things that we've seen in movies or in other video games. That they're we didn't copy it. It's not like a copy, like exactly the same situation. It's like taking whatever is scary of that situation and using it again in a
Mm.
different
Yeah,
way, or
what we
but
want to
the
copy
same
is the
idea.
sensation,
Yeah, the
not
feeling
the
that you have. Yeah,
the
Gotcha.
stick
but
envelope, so to speak, the sensation, and we say okay. And sometimes we are hyped by a movie or and say okay, this is going to be so scary. Then uh, you see what was going to be so scary, and it's not so scary.
Mm.
And you
yeah,
say
for
okay,
example,
if it was like this, then it would be scary. Yeah, sorry, Ignacio.
I was saying that one big reference was the movie The Ring.
Love
The
that movie.
Yeah, it was. I think I like that movie a lot because of how they explain things, but they don't explain them. It's like it's not like they give it to you like in small pieces, so everything is totally explained and totally comprehensible. It's not. It's like
Mm.
almost, but they don't explain it
They
fully.
leave
So
just enough to the imagination that because I agree, it's
yeah,
the imagination is what makes things terrifying, right? And so if you give the player or the viewer all of the information, there's nothing left for the imagination, then they're not going to be as scared because everyone's afraid of different things. And so if you leave it up to their imagination, they will just put in whatever they're most afraid of.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
the blanks. That's I think that's the entire premise of the game design of a Song of Horror. We want to generate the terror, and we don't have hundreds of millions of dollars in resources to do it.
mm,
And we know that the player's mind is more powerful than anything we can show on screen.
hmm
So we need to work with the mind of the player, not against it.
yeah.
that's great. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
one of the
like,
reasons
sorry, go ahead.
that we yeah. Thank you. One of the reasons that we put that mechanic of listening through a door, it's because if you're listening through a door, you don't know what's on the other side. You can hear it, you can imagine things, but you don't know exactly what is. And we will show things very explicit things in like the I don't know paranormal stuff or apparitions, and the demo happens. But we don't want. At the beginning when we started working the game, there was going to be nothing at all, nothing visual. But then
Mm.
we thought this is too much. We have to show something. But we will try to show the very small things or uh, very short visions of
Yeah,
things.
and they're
Will
kind of
not be.
ambiguous. You can't tell. The big black creatures, but you're not sure what they are.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we don't want to be too specific.
Yeah. Well, and so some of the things I think about as you're talking, you've mentioned a lot of your inspiration from, older games like Resident Evil, Alone in the Dark, and then things like Edgar Allan Poe and Lovecraft. And do you guys play any of the more modern games that come out, like horror games you see today? Like, there's a million Slender games, right? I mean, there's probably 30 Slender Man games out there right now, and games like Outlast, which is very popular right
Yeah,
now. And I think there's another big PlayStation 4 title that I'm forgetting the name of that came out recently as well. And they're all sort of a similar premise where you are just running away all the time. you're not fighting, you're not doing anything, you're just running away from creatures. So how does your game? Do you feel that those types of games are good horror games? Do you think they're different? Do they influence yours at all? What do you think when you think of sort of the Slender Man craze that we're in right now?
We think that they are, well, they can be good horror games. We actually we play them in the office when some days when we finish working, instead of going home, and we say, okay, this is horror game night, and we order some pizza, and then we play horror games. We play like The Evil Within, Until Dawn,
That'd
Soma,
be
Alien Isolation, and so on and so on. And yes, a lot of these
Amnesia.
games, we love them. We love them. They're very good. For example, Alien Isolation is a great game.
That's a very good game. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not saying that there can't be great horror games in first person or no. It's just another way. Uh, but we think due to how our game is designed and how our story is designed, a first person view, for example, is more like a blank slate for the character. I mean, you tend to project yourself into the character, but that's not what we want. We have 16 playable characters. We don't want you to project yourself in them. We want you to watch them as if you were watching a movie, and want you to like some, dislike some, identify with some, maybe not so much with others. That's the choice, but we
Also,
don't want to mix them up and confuse you as to whom is whom.
Right. Right.
so it's those games that you mentioned are they are an influence for us. I think some of the things that you see in those games, like the fact that you can't fight whatever is chasing you, or in for example in Alien or in Amnesia, it's one of the other we've played, or Soma, which came out recently. We played those, and the idea of running is present in our game. It happens. You have to run sometimes, but we also wanted to put other things that make our game closer to the original Resident Evil or Silent Hill, where you can fight. But we didn't want you to shoot at something, because it's like there's no sense in shooting the enemy in Song of Horror. It's
Right. You can't shoot a ghost.
yeah, it's like shooting at the sea. It's like you'll
Yeah,
do nothing. Yeah, so
Like,
it's you can
and
fight it, but in a different way. You can turn on lights. You can block a door. You can even sometimes just keeping quiet is enough. So it's not like I don't want to spoil a lot. I don't want to
Yeah.
tell a lot of the enemy, but it's not like if it's a creature or an animal. It's not like that. It's a specific rules,
uh,
and
it's not even a ghost. I mean,
yeah.
it's
Don't give it
some
away too much. Don't give it away too much. I know
I
you
know,
have a demo out there as well, so some folks who play the demo might know a little bit. But
it's not your typical creature. It's not a monster, so to speak. It's something of a very different nature, and
it has its rules. Its rules, and you have to learn them and react to those rules. And they are not necessarily the same rules as with a creature, with a ghost. Like I need to hide because, or I need to hide my smell or my scent, and so it
Right.
cannot follow me. So that it's not how it works. It's totally different. So
that's cool.
yeah,
I'm very excited to try this when it's finished. I mean, it is, like I said, I know the demo's out there, but I have a feeling it's nothing compared to the final product you guys have been working on. And that actually leads me to sort of the next set of questions I had for you guys. I seen that you have a Kickstarter up. It's been backed by a lot of money, and I know that the deadline is fast closing. I was wondering if you guys intend to, finish the game if the Kickstarter doesn't work out, and if so, what does that plan look like?
well, it's right now
Sorry,
it's
it's too
looking a
big
bit.
for you.
No, it's okay. It's a lot of people in Kickstarter are asking the same question because well, we tried Kickstarter before and we failed, and now it
definitely.
started way better, and we got more money, but it's looking difficult right now. It's too short time. A lot of money has to come in, so it's pretty difficult, and we don't really know what we're going to do. I think well, we still have money to work on it a little bit longer, but not a lot. So it depends. We don't know. We will try. We will search for whatever options there are, so we can get funding. Because for example, there are things that we can do, like even if we have another job elsewhere, we could keep working on the game and make it slower. But there are things that we need to pay. That we cannot do ourselves. For example, voice acting, which is one of the things that a lot of people saying, "Oh, the voice acting is terrible." In the trailer, well, voice acting is very expensive, and
Yeah.
we will only pay for voice acting. We want to pay only once when the game is finished, then pay for a good voice acting. But
That's smart.
that's very, very expensive. It's like crazy expensive. I don't
Yeah.
even know the amount, but it's one of the things that we don't know how we are going to pay for that. So that's we could try many other things, but also we don't want to go into Steam Early Access because
That was my next question.
if there's no other choice,
Yeah.
we
For
could go there.
it would be sort of a last resort because we think early access is okay for more replayable games, other kind of games, more, for example, dungeon crawlers, adventures, maybe I don't know, action games. But for a story-based game, when you can get the story spoiled, you can. Uh,
Yeah, or even if we
the,
release the first chapter and
the
people play the
puzzles.
first chapter, and then 2 years later, the other chapter is like,
Yeah.
what? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, that's interesting. You're right. It's an issue I never really thought about because that was my next question: is why not try Steam, early access or green light? I could see that being a problem that you basically would give away the entire story. So what incentive would anyone have to buy the game when it was finished?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I play
yeah.
it again when it comes out of early access. We don't think early access suits our kind of game very much.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the I mean, I look at your Kickstarter and I say, I know your goal, you might not reach your goal, but I look at that and say, well, you still raised a lot of money. You had a very ambitious goal, but you still raised a lot of money. I would think that you would be able to go back and still raise at least $50,000. Would that when you look at your budget, what do you say? Do you say we need $70,000 to do this, or I guess for you it would be euros? So I think you've raised 38,000 euros, right? Is that what I saw? I might not be doing my conversion correctly here.
Right now we are at 28, I think.
28. Okay. So how many? And do you feel like you would need to basically fill the full Kickstarter in order to finish this project, or do you think you could do it on what you've earned now?
Kickstarter is all or nothing. If we don't reach our goal, we receive zero money.
But you could go back and put a new goal, though, right? You could start another Kickstarter and do a new goal, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, we could, but
we don't want to ask for less than what we need, because if that succeeds and it's not enough, then we have a responsibility towards our backers, one that we cannot fulfill, because we said that we needed this amount of money and it was false. We needed more. And
well, the amount that we the $50,000, it's pretty tight. I think with that amount we can finish the game. We are sure we can, but it's pretty tight, like very tight. We'll have to.
And that's because we have a publisher now. If we hadn't, we would need additional money in our previous. The reason we asked for less money this time than or on our last Kickstarter is because we now have a publisher working with us. So there's things
we're even moving from our office, which we are paying now, to an office, a bigger office that they have, where there are some other studios. So we don't have to pay for that office. So that's
nice.
A lot of money we're saving.
That's an example. Another example is, for example, marketing and promotion.
Right.
They take care of it.
Oh, that's good.
Also development kits of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox.
Mhm.
They are very expensive, and we get from them. They
You get a
will
discount on licensing for those consoles.
no, they will.
We
The
don't need to
publisher
pay
will.
anything ourselves.
Oh, they'll pay it for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
They pay.
That's wow.
So
I mean,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
'cause I take a look at a game like Song of Horror and I say this game needs to get made. I mean, this game needs to get made. It looks so good and it looks like it has such great potential. And the horror genre is very popular right now. I really hope you guys can do it. We're rooting for you here at OP News. We'd love to see this game get made. When we do a show once a week where we look at all the trailers for games that came out that previous week and we decide whether or not we want to review it. And your trailer is probably one of the best looking one, if not the best looking one that came up that week. So and we all talked about it during that show. So there's excitement when people look at that. They say that's a game I want to play. I think the last question I have for you guys, because we're getting close to wrapping up, is in Spain. I'm always interested to hear when I talk to folks from other parts of the world, not in the United States. Do you feel that in Spain the independent gaming scene is a very vibrant scene? Do you feel supported by your peers, and do you feel supported by your I guess you could say by the society around you, or is it something that you wish was better?
Well, it's, by other indie studios, yes, they are amazing. There are a lot of people working in video games in Spain right now, and most of them are really, really friendly. I think like 90% are super friendly. Even like they tried our demo, they wrote us like very long emails with everything that they think we could improve and ideas and stuff. So everybody is really, it has been really helpful so far in the indie industry. Like people working their own games, and there are a lot of talent too. There are a lot of very good video games that are coming soon or are starting to development now. But also, the society is a different story. I think society in Spain, the general public in Spain is more like interested uh, in just triple A games, like on specifically football, well, soccer.
Like
I mean,
FIFA?
yeah, FIFA,
Indeed.
Call of
That
Duty,
and League of Legends.
and League of Legends. That
Yeah,
are the three
it's just
video
like
games
here
that
in America.
exist.
We if the game gets made, our Spain is not our main market goal because
Oh,
well,
what is the main market?
it's not to be said that it doesn't have a public here, but it's very minor compared to what acceptance horror games have in other countries, such as, for example, South America, the US, Russia, even Northern Europe.
Yeah,
Those are, I
North
think,
Europe.
the big four.
Hmm.
And
Also,
and
even in
Japan.
France, we have a lot of. I mean, in the media, we have some appearances here in Spain because we are Spanish, but we have almost the same number in France. It's like
Really?
their interest in horror games is higher. So
Wow, that's
I think
interesting.
I think Spain it's not that into horror games.
Not as
We have public
public.
here.
So then I
but
can imagine that voice acting in other languages is probably why everything costs so much money, right? Because you have to have a French version, and a German version, and an English version, and you have to cover everyone. Yeah, I can see why that costs so much
we
money.
don't know if we're going to.
We were talking just for English voice acting.
Just
Yeah.
for English. Wow.
The
Wow.
English voice
Yeah.
acting.
Well,
So
I promise you that I will buy the game and I will give it to as many people as I can that speak English. I don't, but gentlemen, I really do wish you the best of luck. I know that the Kickstarter's only got a few days left, but I really hope that you try again and that you find another form of funding because again, like I said before, the game looks amazing. The horror looks genuine. It looks genuinely scary. And the graphics are unbelievable. And I'm looking forward to hearing more of the voice acting now too. And I really wish you guys the best. And I think I don't know if there's any final comments you'd like to make before we finish off.
Well, we're going to go at it with everything we've got because it's our dream, and we're going to do our best to make the game. Whether the Kickstarter is successful or not. If the Kickstarter is successful, then we'll have it sure. we'll have it made for sure. If it is not, we'll do the best we can with what we have.
Good.
I also want to thank everyone who supported us on Kickstarter, or you guys making this interview, and everyone who interviewed us or talked about us, because when a Kickstarter is going like this one, like it's looking not really good, you tend to feel like, do people really want this game? It's like, are we making something that only we want, or people like this game, or there exists an interest in the game? And when you see that there is not, maybe it's not having enough, I don't know, coverage or something, or it's not, but there's people interested, and there's people that is asking us for the game, and I think
Nice.
yeah, they show their interest, and that's what keep us going. I think it's one of the things that keep us wanting to improve and to keep the game, to keep up.
Yeah, we want to make the best game we can for all those people.
Good. I mean, I really, I really hope this works out for you guys, and everyone out there who did support their Kickstarter. Thank you for doing that. It's important to support independent developers, and Kickstarter is a huge part of that. I certainly see where you're coming from on the Steam greenlight process or early access process as being a difficult one for your title. So I very sympathize with you guys greatly on that.
Thank you. Luckily, we got greenlit last June, so we will be on Steam. If the game comes out, we will be on Steam for sure.
Good. All right then. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time with us. Again, we have Song of Horror by independent developer Protocol Games, based out of Madrid. We had Carlos with us today and Ignacio. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing your game on Steam when it's eventually released. And PC Gaming by PC Gamers, once again, opnoobs.com. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And we should be out here. Right, Fred?